This is shocking, it's disturbing, and it certainly was painful for one person to live with.
A few months ago, a woman checked into an Orange County surgery center for a routine gynecological procedure and got a little more than she bargained for. Several days after the procedure, she was still in severe pain, so she returned to the doctor and was diagnosed with a vaginal infection, given antibiotics, and sent home. The pain got worse, so she went to the doctor 2 more times with no relief. Still in pain, she was using the restroom when her toilet paper got caught on something sharp. Doctors performed an x-ray and found a surgical probe still inside of her from the procedure 11 weeks prior.
Well, Dr. Anita, I'm going to start with you because obviously these things can happen, but I think the part about this story that was the most surprising to me is that she returned to the doctor's office 3 separate times. And for it to take that long to discover, which is it's a pretty big probe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this happened to be a gynecological procedure.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, I wish I could say that this doesn't happen, Travis, but the truth is it does. And so we know that about 4,000 Americans per year actually will have a surgical item left in them after a procedure. And it's very unfortunate that she did go back time after time, but I think it brings to light a very important point. This is your body, you know, and you have to listen to your body. And if you really think that something is wrong and your doctor is not doing what he or she needs to do to take care of that situation, then I think you should, quote unquote, vote with your feet, and you need to find someone who will listen.
But and the doctor too. I mean, there was a red flag. This was, I guess, a relatively routine uterine ablation.
Right.
And after surgery, she kept coming in for her visits. Things were not quite right. So then we have to think outside the box.
Right.
And one of the things you have to think about is a foreign body. If she's just not coming back the way she's supposed to, you've got to think
it's such a great point, because one of the things we've currently seen in medicine, we've talked about on the show a lot, is it's easy sometimes to say, oh, you know, this is just a vaginal infection. You keep treating it. We've talked about this before with urinary tract infections. You keep throwing antibiotics at it. But if you're someone out there and you just keep getting different courses of antibiotics and you're not getting better, you have to go next level and say, well, wait a minute, why is this happening? I'm happy that they ended up getting that x-ray to show the foreign body. But the one thing I will say is you can understand how it's not common to just shoot an x-ray of the pelvic area like that. I'm sure they may have done an ultrasound, but maybe they just didn't see the probe, depending upon where they were looking. But I'm
big.
It was. And
I'm surprised they didn't see it.
Exactly, I am too. We do surgical counts at the beginning and at the end, and during the procedure, and they will specifically say, doctor, your count is correct. So. Yeah.
Well, that, you know, begs the question. This was down in an outpatient surgery center, and all outpatient surgery centers now are subject to accreditation and inspections and have to run a tight ship. You wonder how this fell through the cracks. Were there not enough people on board in the operating room doing this system of checks and balances to make sure this doesn't?
Well, and it also does get back to what you said, which is if you've had a procedure done, something's wrong with you, and you're going back repeatedly time and time again with a problem, and it's after any sort of surgery, you have to think to yourself, well, what if something went wrong in that surgery that we're not, you know, that we're not locating? It is a gentle reminder that know your body, and if things aren't getting better, search for a different cause, and in some cases, maybe a different doctor.